All right, everybody. Good afternoon. It's Jesse Ziegler.
And Quinn Cody.
And we're here in the Cycle News studios for day 4 ISDE race coverage live from 6 Days Daily. Quinn, how's your day 4 going so far?
So far, pretty good.
Yeah.
I think we got we got kind of a little bit of an early start here. We don't have official results, but we're going to do our best with what we have from the FIM. And I think that, we had the gist of at least the top finishing guys.
Yeah. Most of the time, a lot of these top guys' times don't change too much because they're in so early. And if there was any issues, they do have like a jury every night that they go through if anybody has protests or they need to work through any issues out in the day. And there certainly are some issues today. Because if you were watching live timing, which I just got done watching some live timing and the live show from the final test, man, did that sure change quickly for people out there. Think about an hour into after getting that test open, the skies kind of opened up and started drizzling. And then pretty soon, all that nice hard-packed grass track test that they've ridden on 3 times in the past 2 days turned basically like into a skating rink. It was brutal for all the club riders in the back half of this race. Were just struggling out there and really got that short end of the stick.
Yeah, it seems like, that the timing wasn't closed on that test, that final test for a long time today. Yeah. And so I think there was people on that test for a while and who knows, they might still be out there.
They might be, and that will delay. I think
this is a little bit of a preview to what we're going to see tomorrow.
Right. So just to get you caught up, forecast is continued rain until the end of this event, essentially. So starting now, tomorrow's day 5, final day of actual enduro racing. And then on day 6, on Friday, there's a motocross test. All of this expected to be heavily wet and heavily muddy.
That's right.
Which is going to be just chaos for standings and chaos for predictability. Because right now, Team Italy is under control, dominating this control of this race. And man, we got some cool stuff to talk about today in stats. I think we should start there. So first,
I think, should we throw down the results first?
Yeah, yes, definitely.
So we give people a little background here.
Yeah, definitely. Verona, Andrea Verona.
Individual results.
Individual results. Took the day win today, which is pretty significant for a couple reasons. But he did beat Josep Garcia by 4.51 seconds, 4.81 seconds, just under 5 seconds.
Yep.
On the day today. And Mikael Persson from Sweden was 3rd, but he's 47 seconds back. So this is really telling to how close the top 2 guys are and how they're fighting over these 4 to 6 seconds every day for the win.
Yeah, battling it out. And I believe that's the first time in a long time anybody's beat Garcia.
It is. Yeah, we have more on that in a little bit.
Interesting.
That really set the tone for Italy to extend their lead over second place, which is now Sweden, interestingly. Yes. So Sweden jumps over the top of France, but they are 6 minutes and 30 seconds behind Team Italy. France is dropping to 3rd. They're 23 seconds behind Sweden. So that fight for second place is tight in this race.
It is a tight battle.
Really tight race. Spain sits in 4th now. They're 5.5 minutes behind 3rd place Sweden. And the USA is staying tight in 5th place. They really didn't move at all. They just kind of keep losing the same amount of time every day. Mm-hmm. They're about a minute behind Spain.
Yep.
But
I mean, I think they could probably move up into 4th, but I think a podium position, I mean, barring any kind of disaster for any of the top 4 teams,
it's going to be a tough order.
Going to be tall order for these guys.
Also, Australia is hunting them down right now. Mm-hmm. They are coming at them, and they're only under a minute behind them.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking you're comfortable in 5th place, you're not, because Australia is on the gas.
No. And, in the individual times today, it seems like the Americans just were, again, kind of flat. I think.
Johnny Girard, I believe, was the top American today.
Yep.
He's about.
He was 8th, I believe.
Yeah, 8th overall. He's about a minute 13 behind the top pace of the top guys.
Yep. And relatively consistent test scores. He had a couple top 10s and, a couple kind of in the 20 range. So pretty consistent finisher. And then I think Grant Davis, the junior rider, was the next best American in 15th place. Which
sets a tone today. There were some junior riders that really came in and, sort of lit up the 6 days today. We have 2 junior riders today that won special tests overall.
Yep.
And we're talking Leo Joyon from France on the junior team and Alberto Elgari. They won test 5 and 6 respectively.
Yeah.
So taking it to the top runners. And in that test, Verona actually finished 6th and Garcia finished 3rd in those ones. So it's like,
you got to kind of wonder,
putting the hammer down on some of these tests and figuring out how to beat the best.
You got to kind of wonder if there was more at play there than just, shouting out speed, because those guys really finished the day in 14th and 15th or 13th and 14th. Sorry.
Yeah.
But it was really only those 2 tests that they won, which was basically test 4 and 5. And so maybe, or 5 and 6.
5 and 6. Yeah.
It could have possibly played into something to do with where they were start position and the deterioration of the track or something like that.
It just maybe just getting into the groove and nailing those 2 tests. I was watching the live stream and I actually saw Leo Joyon. He was running really good and then he just lost it and crashed in that final test and he was visibly frustrated.
Yeah.
So anything can happen out there. They finished just barely ahead of Grant Davis. Grant Davis is right there behind them in the overall today. So, he's on the gas. He finished as high as 8th today too, or 9th today too. So still these junior guys showing the health of the sport coming up.
Yeah. And I think Grant is 4th overall in the junior classification. So he's I think a couple minutes behind, or actually, gosh, the top juniors are really in, at least today on the overall. We don't have overall results for the whole event official, but for the day, I think, let's see, for the day he's within 15 seconds of the overall. So that's pretty impressive actually to see that all these top juniors, the top 4 or 5 guys, are within less than a minute of each other.
Yeah, the juniors are coming on strong here. We've got more to see from them tomorrow. I just don't know what the mud's going to do to everybody, and the starting order is going to be really important, and everything's important tomorrow. It's going to be wild moment. I did a little bit of research this morning trying to find some more information, and Enduro21.com just posted what they call their ISDE notebook. The other thing Enduro21 did really well today was set the tone and sort of give you some perspective on the U.S. women's team and how dominant they are. I think going into tomorrow, they're carrying a 30-minute lead. So the level of that dominance in their class is so big that the editors at Enduro21 even said, it's almost embarrassing to all the other countries that the U.S. is this good at this, not because any other reason, but the other countries are clearly not promoting women's sport and motorcycling as much as the U.S. Right. And they said it's shame. They didn't say this, but they were throwing shade at the other countries a little bit, saying like, you can't expect, the girls to grow up racing motorcycles or boys to grow up if you don't support them. And clearly the U.S. has a support system in place to bring in, more women competitors into our major series. We have pro classes and all our off-road series. We have feeder systems. We have past champions still involved in the sport, and all that stuff makes a big difference. And clearly it's working out.
Yeah. I mean, and that's important. You have to have, women on the factory team, right? And like we do here in North America for GNCC and Enduro is we have factory women racers. And what that does is it gives the young girls someone to look up to, something to aspire to, and kind of a carrot to chase after, because, hey, that could be me.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
And it's the same with men's racing too. If you don't have factory involvement and guys that are getting paid, then the drive to get there is much less. And I think that's probably what you're seeing in a lot of these other countries is there's no real drive to get, because there's no end game, right? Yeah. It's just, I'm just a hobby racer and, I'll go race 6 days. But yeah.
Takes a big commitment for sure for the countries to put it together. For us to put the investment into the women's trophy team has been, significant in the past 10 years. And clearly it's paying off. I mean, a lot of them coming from motocross and then they kind of make the transition off-road. But now I think there's more girls just focusing on off-road to the start.
And there's still a lot of high-level women that are racing in the U.S. that aren't at 6 days.
For sure. We have reserves.
We could have another team that could be second and third.
Yeah, there definitely are. So. In fact, this is one of the first years that they have women's club teams as well as the women's trophies team, which is necessary to get more women on the 6 days program. and try to teach them what it's like, because you can't learn it by just racing GNCCs.
Well,
you got to be there.
These girls could stop for an espresso in one of the tests and still win by 20 minutes.
They should. Yes, they're crushing it. So
we're going to try to get a guy on the phone here from Italy.
Let's do it. So
famous Italian.
We're going to call the director of European enduro racing for the KTM group, essentially, correct?
That's right.
Fabio Fairioli. I say his name wrong every time.
Fairioli.
Fabio Fairioli. He has been involved in KTM enduro racing at the factory level for as long as I can remember, certainly as long as I've been around the sport. And I think
longer than I've been alive.
Longer than I've been alive. With a family that's been, supporting and managing these race series. So he's actually in charge of the top two racers. He's in charge of, Josep Garcia and Andrea Verona, because they're factory KTM and gas racers. So when they go race Enduro GP, that's his team. So we're going to get him on the phone right now, I hope, if we can get our phones to connect. And we'll just chat with him really quick about what it's like to have two guys on the top team. What's it like with the weather changing? How they are. Is there any rivalry or any beef between them? And then we'll get back to our normally scheduled program here.
Sì, pronto.
Sì. Hello, Fabio.
Hey.
How are you?
All right. We had some technical difficulties, but we got you on the phone.
Yeah. And now I can hear you pretty good. I'm just in the car, but I stopped. I can.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you for taking the time to chat with us. I know you're a busy guy, especially at something like the ISDE, where you have multiple teams and teammates and people spread out across different countries there, because you control essentially all of Europe's official enduro racing for, KTM, Gas, Husqvarna, etc. So tell us how hectic of the week it's been so far for you.
Even if we are here 6 days, just to link to the word that you just told, that we are working for the next hard enduro, which will be in 2 weeks. And, we have to take care about the traditional enduro, hard enduro, and the day is pretty busy, even if we are racing.
Right.
The race today was really good, because we had our two riders, Garcia with the KTM and the Verona with gas, that they had a big fight every test, and they both did some small mistakes, but finally Andrea won, and Garcia just crashed last test, but I don't know if he was able anyway to win. But the gap is very small, and they fight very hard. Everybody want to win.
Yeah, these two. This must be interesting, having the two fastest guys on your team, and fun to watch them fight like this. Is there any kind of rivalry between Garcia and Andrea? Are they getting along okay, or do we have some drama?
They are friends. They are used to work together, but a rider is a rider, so he's a beast inside, and and especially Garcia, when he lose one day or even one test, he gets very hungry with everybody, with himself, mainly with himself, and he's untreatable. You need to leave him alone for a while, and then when he's more calm, you can talk to him again. Andrea from the other side is much more calm, and they ride both of them 110%, even if Andrea doesn't look like, because his style is completely different, even due to the bike that he's riding, the 450. And Garcia has a style that we all know. So they are so different. The bikes are so different, but the times are so close, so nearby. So they are good riders, and even if they are rival, they are two professional guys, and they always respect one each other.
It looks like today on some highlights I saw that they were taping up Garcia's hand a little bit. Maybe he ran into a tree or hit something. Does he have any lingering issues for either of the top two guys, or are they all pretty healthy right now?
No. He hit a stick, a wood stick with a plastic on the test.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And he got a cut on his finger, and not so bad, but it's painful. And we fixed it somehow, him and myself, at the checkpoint with stickers, stitches,
mm-hmm.
and some silver tape, because the silver tape is much better than the medical tape to use under the gloves.
Yeah.
And it was pretty good, because the plan was to put the stitches on the next checkpoint, but he finished the day, and he gets some stitches at the end of the race from the American doctor, from the doctor. Like the last 6 days, like the 6 days in Portugal, he was helped by the American doctor.
Very cool. So we saw in some of the video, it looks like the rain has already started for this afternoon, and it's looking like it's going to be pretty heavy tomorrow. What are you guys predicting?
Now it's raining, even if not hard, but it's consistent, and it's raining regularly. So tomorrow will be tough. If they don't change anything, will be tough from the transfers, the loop, but some tests, I think, especially one, is unrideable. So I don't know, if it doesn't stop to rain, they need to find some modification tonight, this night, not tonight, but this night. Otherwise, it's a disaster, honestly.
Yeah.
Test, of course, will be no difference with the rain or without, but the loop and the two tests, or even three tests, will be very difficult. One for sure is unrideable.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, it'll be wild to see.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah. So a little background about yourself and your family. For a lot of our American listeners maybe don't know the history, but you guys have been involved in enduro for quite a long time. And can you give us a little background, and maybe how many world championships you guys have actually taken over the years?
My father started to work with John Penton many years ago, in the 1970s, and we had a race team in enduro and motocross since that year. Now are more than 55 years. My father started to import the motorcycle in the KTM motorcycles in Italy, and then he became a primary business. But on the other side, he was always keeping a racing team in enduro in Europe, before in European Championship, then became a World Championship. And that years, in these years also, many years we got a motocross team. And with one World Championship. Enduro, honestly, I cannot remember the number exactly, so I don't want to make a mistake, but many. And even with the company up and down, we have been always linked to KTM. Mm-hmm. And even in the bad timing in the 1992, 1994, my father was one of the person that with the other guys helped to save the company. Mm-hmm. And that's now we are here. I know that is not the best time for our company, but we are confident that we will be back as strong as before. So I see myself again with the KTM for a while. So
very cool. Well, man, we really appreciate you taking the time to chat with us and our listeners. And that's a lot. I'm sure there's got so many good stories. And
for sure.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure for me. My English is not so good, but I hope that I am. Yeah, you can understand my words and the meaning of my my words and.
It's very good. Yes.
Yeah, very good. Thank you so much. You're off to a great start this 6 days.
When you want, you can contact me. It's a pleasure for me. Okay.
Good to know.
Thank you. Good. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Fabio. Ciao.
Bye. Ciao. That was awesome catching up with Fabio Fairioli. He's a legend. If you've ever seen a factory KTM enduro bike, enduro FIM hard enduro bike, they always have the Fairioli name sticker on the headlight. And it's because his management team, his family has been involved with enduro off-road racing with the KTM brands, since, like we just heard, since John Penton, 1970.
Yeah. Early on, since the beginning.
It's very cool. They're obviously doing a great time out at the 6 days this year. Top 2 guys are under his tent and really crushing it. So very cool. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Fairioli. Pretty awesome. Okay, now we're going to try to call Josh Shaker, who's the chase rider for Johnny Giroir, and get into a little bit of what does chase rider do? Why are they there? How's it going from his perspective? So we're just going to cold call him. I think he's at the bar at the hotel.
It should be interesting.
Okay. Hi, Quinn. Hi, Jesse. Nice to talk to you, fellas.
Yeah, thanks for taking a minute after you wind down from the end of the day. Tell us a little bit about how this chase riding and all this nonsense in the crew is going on this week so far after the halfway point.
It's ever evolving, man. We've been here since
the last 14th.
14th, I think. We were like the first ones to get here and start scouting out trying to find course markers to see where these guys are going to go and what they're going to experience and try and give them some feedback. And that's been ever changing due to a lot of things, land permission, weather, and environmental issues as well. And so another change just came at us before you FaceTimed us. We just got the update that the course has changed significantly for tomorrow. Not only do we have a different start time, but the day has been shortened. We're expecting over 2 inches of rain tomorrow, so that's affected how they're going to lay out the course, which is pretty tough when they ride roughly 200 kilometers in a day, and to adjust that with a day's notice due to rain is pretty heavy.
Yeah, it's changed a lot.
Did they say what tests they're taking out for tomorrow?
Yeah, they actually eliminated 2 tests. Both tests that were run today. Our guys call it Powerline, and the other one they call Lazy River. But it was actually, I don't even know what we go by our guys. They nickname all the tests because it's easier to remember. The European, typically the tests are named after the town they're in. The one was Peoria.
Albino.
Albino is the one they took out. Which is right by the Acherbys. I believe it's the production, or maybe it's the corporate headquarters. A lot of Acherbys buildings here in Bergamo, so that's pretty cool. We had a time control at both Acherbys facilities, and then one test, the first test, first and last test yesterday and today were kind of directly across the hill from the Acherbys, I assume, world headquarters.
Yeah, it's Franco.
Franco's one. Yeah, and it was actually Franco Acherbys. We believe what we understood, it was his family farm or his land from when he grew up.
Yep.
So pretty cool.
Nice. Very cool.
Franco.
So yeah, those 2 tests aren't being used tomorrow.
Okay.
They're sticking with the ones that are on kind of a harder base or up higher on a hill, rocky. So it'll be interesting for sure.
Yeah. Do you think that's going to make it more passable for some of these guys? Because I saw the last test today on the live stream, and it basically became, they were just standing up with both their feet out around some of the corners because it was so slippery.
That was Albino.
Okay.
Yeah, that was what our guys call the Acherbys test. That's one they're not using.
Okay. Good.
But to anyone watching this who's never been to Europe, imagine the worst dirt and I'm not saying this to be insulting. I'm just being honest as I can be. Imagine the worst dirt you've ever ridden on. The Europeans would think that was the best dirt ever. I don't know. I don't know how they grow here, which they do. And everything is green and lush, but there's zero topsoil. It's not even clay. It's basically just ground up rock. And then somehow when you put water on it, it turns into ice. So it's pretty challenging.
It does. So. It does look pretty challenging out there for everybody. But I mean, honestly, especially for the U.S. team this year, they seem to be having some hard time getting some consistent times out there. What have you guys seen, from behind the scenes or next to the scenes as to, what's contributing to that?
Consistency has been the biggest. I've been to, this is my 6th or 7th 6 days, and the consistency has been more up and down this time than I've ever seen before. And I can't, Lane could probably explain better what that's caused by, but.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's really, honestly, it's been the most weird year even that I've seen, like all the different places we've been. And I just know from my own self, the way I look at it is like, I always struggle coming to 6 days in general, but I feel like this year especially, they've kind of been almost a more quirky test and like doesn't have a bunch of flow.
Right.
In the U.S., our sprints, I mean, I know the West Coast had a little bit, but the East Coast, like our sprint series, I swear like they set them up to be as flowy as possible.
Yeah.
So we're always carrying momentum, and if there's a sketchy section, you're hitting it straight, where here it's like everything's on an angle. You're always on an off camper. You're hitting a G out sideways. Like it's just, it's always like that when you come to 6 days, but I feel like this year it's almost like the guys have struggled to adapt to that as quickly. And I'm not talking down on the riders. They'd all smoke me now. So like, I'm not berating them. Like everyone's had their day so far. Sure. So it's like, but it's just stringing them together is where they struggle. But I think that's the most difficult part of coming to 6 days for the U.S., like not riding. Honestly, the crappiest conditions year round. Like Johnny said, like they think this dirt's awesome, what they've had the past couple of days. And to us, it's like not that fun at all because we're used to sick ruts and, all this stuff.
We had a casual conversation at dinner tonight just talking about it. So it's, as everybody knows, obviously we're here supporting the U.S. chase riders, kitted USA, head to toe, and we're flying the stars and bars, but it's been tough this week results wise. And, just in a casual conversation, so many things were brought up, like, the level of competition and the speed level. And I attribute it to the alien, Josep Garcia, like the last couple of years. I mean, he's just pushed the bar so much higher and higher and higher. And these guys have become even more specialized and more focused in what they're doing. And it's brought up not only the level of the guys that he's racing against, obviously Verona, Holcomb, all those guys, but it's brought up, your juniors, your younger guys. And the biggest thing is if some European stumbles on to your podcast and watch this is not at all intended to be defamatory, but the reality of it is for the casual U.S. fan or even a fan who follows Enduro GP a little bit, you come to 6 days, there's going to be some dude you never heard of on like a 200 beta that people in the States wouldn't even consider racing, and he's out there just laying down mind-blowing test times.
Yeah.
These guys are specialists at what they do, and again, back to, we got a call coming in. I don't know if you can still see that, but, these guys are absolutely specialized at what they do, and to the point, like, to me, growing up and being an ATV guy my whole life, following 6 days a little bit because my friends, Caleb and Taylor, Robert, and those guys started doing well. And I think it brought a lot more American eyes to ISDE, especially when they won in 2016 for the first time. But the reality of it is, like, start following some of these Europeans on social media and see their practice videos during the week. And there's no American that I know of, unless they're a hard Duro guy, who would be like, yeah, that looks like a good place to ride.
Yeah.
Like, you would look at it and be like, I'm not taking my bike out of my Sprinter to go ride that garbage. And these guys are like, great day practicing. Yeah. So it's, conditions, they're tough, man, for the Americans. It's just, and it's different. It's not desert. It's not East Coast GNCC, and it's nothing in between. It's a whole other world.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we had Auntie on the beginning of the show, and that's basically what he said. He said, we always take, it's so much harder for us to go there and perform well because it's so different than anything we do. And the goal is to always prepare more so that we're ready to race when we get there. So we don't have to take a couple of days to warm up. But like you guys just said, this year seems to be everything's on an angle. Like they're even throwing it further away from our norm.
I think you guys kind of nailed it too with talking about Garcia. I think he's elevated the game and it's kind of reminiscent to, back in kind of the, late 2000, 2008, 2009, when we had, a lot of those guys really, when Enduro GP was kind of at the peak, and, so yeah, I think it's making a comeback, and it's kind of going to reach a new level, probably solely because of the freak Garcia.
Yeah, for sure.
Just making things.
The alien.
Yeah,
for sure. It's crazy that he's on a 250 for sure.
I agree.
And Andrea Verona's on a 450, and their times are exactly the same, if not the other way around.
Yeah, I actually didn't know Verona was on a 450. I thought he was on a 350 until the first day I heard him go by. I was like, that's not a 350. It surprised me. But and Verona, I think this whole 6 days would be a lot tighter. But where Italy, they had a bad year last year. He was starting so far back on the first day. Yeah. He got the two cross tests in the absolute worst condition on day one when it was raining. So if outside of that, I mean, I don't know how far, 38 seconds or something like that. Yeah, but it'd be half if it wasn't for day one. So
yeah. Speaking of rain, how are you guys prepping for tomorrow?
Rain suits. Yeah. Honestly, for me personally, that's mentally preparing to be wet all day. Yeah. You know, we took off on day one, and I didn't even rain suit up because I was like, it's going to stop by like 9 o'clock, and it rained half the day. I mean, you know what you're signing up for, man. Like we knew we weren't going to be in an air conditioned car driving around. So the way I always look at it is, as cold and wet as I might be, and as miserable as I might be, the riders are out there giving it their all. So you just hold on to the bike, and at the end of the day, you wring out your underwear.
But the biggest prep we do is for what we're doing for the riders. You know, we've cut up every microfiber we have into quarters so that we can basically be done with them the first time they're used. We give them to the riders as they ride away, and they shove them behind their number plate, and they're never to be used again. Or I'm traveling with 8 sets of goggles in my backpack throughout the whole day, plus they're sending them out to every out check, and not to mention how many pairs of gloves. Cody gave me every single pair of gloves he has to be ready for tomorrow.
Yeah. You'd be shocked how many sets of goggles and gloves you can fit in a USWE backpack. You know, like it's packed full. You feel like the zippers are going to burst, but not a contracted endorsement. But those guys make some tough stuff because the zippers hold.
Yeah.
Right on.
Well, I hope you guys are bored tomorrow. I hope you don't have to do any emergency, goggle swaps,
retrievals,
mid-test.
I will say this. No such thing as a boring day for a 6-day chase rider.
Yeah.
Like, there's always something going on, and it'll be interesting for sure, and the rain's just another element.
I think the best thing about the rain is the drama that it could bring. I mean, it can put this whole thing on its head. I mean, whether the bikes survive, the riders survive, there's a lot of unknowns coming at us for the final long day of this race.
Yeah, especially the position the U.S. is kind of in right now. Like I'm not knocking the guys at all. It's just been a difficult week.
Yeah.
But right now where they're at, they need some help if they're going to be on the podium in the junior or the world trophy. Now the women, like that's what it's a flip flop. We got the women leading by 20 some odd minutes,
26 minutes.
So it's like you don't want anything to happen to them. That'd be devastating. But for our trophy guys, this rain's like, yeah, great. Let's throw a curveball in this and see if something can happen. But
and just a quick little side note, the format has changed over the years. There was a point where it used to be 5 trophy riders, 6 trophy riders even. It's 4, but all 4 scores count.
Yeah.
There's been years where it was 4, but only 3 scores count. And so the juniors, the women, and the trophy team, all the riders' scores count. So one rider, one bike problem, and the results are suddenly flipped. And we were talking earlier, if a rider doesn't finish the day, they're essentially awarded a 3-hour time
your team
for that day. And that's, we're talking the guys at this point are both teams, junior and trophy, are about 5 minutes off the podium. Well, you add 3 hours to that changes that.
Yeah. That can happen to any team at any time out there. It's just it's just the unpredictable nature, and staying consistent is the only way to win this race. And when it's raining all day, it makes it that much harder.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Pretty wild. Well, thank you guys so much for taking your time chatting with us tonight. We'll hit you up again for another update maybe tomorrow after you're wringing your underwear out.
We'll have umbrellas.
Nice.
The umbrella team. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for what you're doing out there for the boys and girls on the team and for, just flying the flag proud. Thanks, man. It's pretty fun to watch.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
All right, boys.
Take care.
Have a good one.
Get cozy in that bed. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Thanks, guys, for calling in again. Quinn, the chase riders, obviously, they got a lot of work to do out there.
Yeah,
everybody's got a chase rider,
That's some good behind the scenes stuff you don't think about, when you sit and look at the results and what's going on and you see, there's all these 20 countries that are in the trophy division and junior trophy division. And then you have all these guys, every country has chase riders, the guys that are going from test to test and carrying guys goggles and spare stuff. And, I think there's some behind the scenes stuff. The Europeans are famous for having guys hiding in the bushes with spare parts and all this kind of stuff.
That's the stuff I
especially
like
the locals. And you're not allowed to change parts outside of the service area, but
if a new part falls on my bike when I'm, using the restroom,
find it on the ground out in the forest.
Yeah. Who knew where that rear sprocket was going to come from?
I'm sure these guys have some stories, and I've heard some stories from Mark Hyde about, who was a chase rider for many, many years for the U.S. team. And so, it's cool to see kind of a little behind the scenes from the 6 days life.
Yeah. And I think it's 9:30 there right now. They're going to get up really early tomorrow to make sure those backpacks are full and get their rain suits on and go out there all day. So really appreciate you guys for calling in and giving us a little bit of entertainment. So thank you. Thank you. We enjoy watching you suffer. I'm sorry. It's true. Tomorrow's another big day. I think it's going to be big. They took 2 tests out.
Yep.
But it's still going to be plenty grueling and not very much fun to be riding in the rain all day, I'm sure, for these people. 5th day. So it's getting old probably to get on that bike in the morning.
Yeah, by the 5th day, you're ready for it to be over, and once you wrap up the 5th day, then you're like, okay, you can kind of breathe because it's all that's left. On day 6 is the final motocross test, which is just basically a moto. Mm-hmm. So generally, it has happened before that guys have crashed out of the final moto or had a broken bike, but for the most part, you're pretty stoked to once you finish up day 5.
Yeah, last year Spain was crazy muddy final race. Ended up being chaotic for some of the junior trophy win. Came in the last moto, I think. Sweden came in and won it in the last moto, and it was just really emotional for everybody. They had a horrific year the year before where they had to carry their bike across the whole moto track. So a lot of drama can still happen the next 2 days, but I think tomorrow's going to be the deciding factor in these big categories, and it's going to be exciting to watch.
Yeah, no, it'll be good, and it'll be good to see if Verona can kind of back up his win from today, and
definitely,
maybe he's got some momentum on his side, and maybe kind of, knock old Garcia down a peg.
Yeah, get a little luck on his side.
Sounds like those two, Garcia don't like to lose, so should be good. Should be good. Let's hear it for the hometown guy to see if he can come back and make this even more interesting. So, all right, thanks for listening, everybody. We got to get going, back to our real jobs, and shout out to Fabio Fairioli. Yep.
For calling us. That guy's a legend, and we're very lucky to get him on the phone. Thanks to the crew at the Chase Riders.
Yep.
Getting in there, and we're going to catch up with as many people as we can along the way. So thanks for listening in, and we'll catch you tomorrow for day 5.
All right. Out.